Frogman Friday.
Yeah, boy. Cool. What's up, guys? It's that time again. Welcome to the Frogman Friday show.
Presented by Transcend, the best peptide and hormone therapy. They put your health first so you can live more and worry less. Go to transcendcompany.com/Birdman to begin your wellness transformation today.
Today, our badass guest is Johnny Wilson. He served 13 years in total, 10 as a Green Beret, exiting service as a Sergeant First Class. He's the Director of Operations for Coast to Coast Foundation, which was founded in 2014 in North Carolina, now headquartered in Rockwall, Texas. You can follow Coast to Coast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and check out CXCfoundation.org for a deeper dive. Fast note, Johnny is a below-the-knee amputee and considers his prosthetic his teammate. Such a badass outlook, my man. Welcome to the show.
Birdman, what's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We're just rapping before. That's crazy, man. How proud are you though that, I mean, it was 2014, 2015, and you're still going. This foundation's not only going but growing. How proud are you of that?
Yeah, we're severely proud, man. This thing started from the death of a friend. You know, he wasn't the first, and it wasn't going to be the last. But this brought a lot of people together, and no one expected it to keep going like this. We've grown. We've hit some roadblocks. We're not that bright collectively, but like there's a handful of just get it done people involved. So yeah, man, severely proud.
Well, you mentioned that you guys started and then some rocky roads. Tell me about the founding. Like, why were you founded and what was your mission at that time?
Long story short, October 12th of 2012, Kanabad, Afghanistan, Special Mission Unit was working there, and my former teammate from 3rd Special Forces Group, Ryan Savard, was killed that night, along with injuries that were sustained by some other friends of ours. I wasn't on target that night, but I was affiliated with that operation based on what I was doing professionally, and that kind of became the turning point, the fulcrum, if you will, to all right, we've been doing this now for roughly a decade at a time, and there's a lot of guys who are injured. How do we focus on them? It's not just, yes, there's honoring the Gold Star families and the memory of that one individual, but how do we channelize that to those who are still doing the job and help them heal physically, eventually mentally, and then take care of their families. So initially it was just about the guys. We didn't know what we were doing. Everyone was still working. I was out of a uniform at that time, but I was very directly involved with a ton of direct action operations for a while. And that's basically how it started. Chris Vallejo out of North Carolina, he was on active duty at the time. It was his idea initially, and the coast to coast ride for the fallen basically was, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go to California, I'm gonna pick up a late 70s BMW, and I want to see America on the way back, and I want to stop and see all these families that have been affected by that. And then light bulbs started going off. I mean, some of the dudes were still in the hospital from being injured. So that became something therapeutic that you could put your hands on. It became an action item, if you will, that everyone wanted to be a part of. Our initial mission was, how do we populate money to take care of medical issues that these guys are going to need, external of whatever insurance they may have or what active duty does or doesn't provide. And then as retired guys or dudes that separate, you're going to have VA problems and, you know, standard pharmaceutical issues. Like, how do we help with that? So that's where it's been. It's grown from then, but we didn't know what we were doing, and everything that we threw at the wall stuck, and we just started doing it till we figured out it wasn't a good option.
Yeah, when you guys get started every year with your drive, your ride across America, I mean, I see it everywhere, and I even hear it in town too. Like, guys are coming into town, coast to coast, and it's like, whoa, that's. And I knew nothing about driving motorcycles, riding bikes, and any of that stuff when I met you guys. And it's funny to see, Chris had that, really cool street bike, and then he had a giant comfortable bike. And I'm like, what is that bike? I thought you were going to ride this one. He's like, I'm not riding that across the country. I got to have comfort. And I'm like, okay. So total idiot here. But okay,
we had stolen bikes, we had acquired bikes, we found it, none of it made sense. And if people loaned it, we threw it on the trailer and donated it to some dude who didn't have it. Next thing you know, they were on it for, a couple cities, in one day, out the next.
Unbelievable, man. And you're riding across the country, you as well, right?
Yeah, I've been involved with this thing since day one. The route has deviated some, but it's basically Pacific to Atlantic. I mean, left to right, where we usually start in Los Angeles or San Diego. We've done that a few times, and then we've always tried to climb to the National Cemetery vicinity of September 11th. Couple days left or right of that, depending on that. But these places have been extremely generous. And then along that route, we have numerous events, and so we've built friendships and a network. And as a decade and some change has gone by, guys get out, they run businesses in these cities. The network has just grown, and so we maintain all these friendships and start building new ones the whole time. So we see it as a massive reinvestment into the communities that we either came from or that we're still in. And now we're seeing like generational effect. My kids are involved. It turns into one big, sometimes clown show, sometimes professional operation. So it's come a long freaking way.
That's awesome, man. So you've been around for now. You've had multiple transitions or maybe just growth patterns, problems, great things. Where are you now? What is the organization doing? Talk about some of the programs or where you've evolved to.
Yeah, we have got some great relationships with some medical providers nationally. The majority of our work has been out of Texas traditionally, just because of the agreement we have with a place called Resiliency Brain Health. It's now called Resiliency Health. It's out of Capel, Texas. Their medical protocols are pretty unconventional, yet pretty effective and amazing. They're doing non-invasive treatments, and it's all centered around reduction of the inflammation of the brain. So you've got guys with PTSD, TBI, anxiety, sleep problems, substance abuse, you name it. They have a ton of diverse clients there, but their veteran input is supported by probably 4 or 5 different organizations now. There's some rock stars, and they get your brain back to normal, like pituitary gland producing hormones the way that it was designed to do. It's a very short protocol. It's 10 business days, but they are helping numerous veterans, and they've grown over the past 4 or 5 years. Um, Recently, we established an agreement with Origin Medical. A lot of hormones, peptides. They're out of the vicinity of Louisville, Kentucky, Indiana, that border area. They've helped me specifically. I'm one of their customers just with peptides, stem cells just from a year-old amputation. So their protocols in conjunction with some of the other things that we're doing are helping guys, regenerate soft tissue, again, reduction of brain inflammation, longevity of joints, prevention of surgeries, things like that. There's a men's retreat and a kind of the aspect that we support. We've got funds for grant-based stuff. These guys helped me pay for a prosthetic that was getting denied by insurance, and I had a lot of problems with. We've got an agreement with some guys out at the beach in Virginia called Nucoa. It's another brain treatment facility, and they're a little bit more of a deep dive. They can go anywhere from 3 to 4 to almost 8 weeks. So again, some of the protocols that I mentioned earlier. So that allows us, even though the majority of our stuff's in Texas, we can launch anywhere in the nation, money, network approval, and then we can link in with other charities, partner up, make sure the funds are raised, get dudes to the front of the line for treatment without kicking somebody else out of the line.
That's amazing, man. I'll tell you what, the 10-day short protocol like you talked about, peptides, hormone therapy, 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about it. And, you get a blood test for the first time and they're saying, oh, you look fine. And you're at the VA and you're like, okay, everything checks out. I'm good. And you don't feel good. And you can't quite center in on what that is. And I became this kind of beta test for a bunch of different things, and over the years, you start to find out what's really, really out there that's working. And so I applaud you on doing this, man. I applaud you on talking about all this stuff too, as an end user. It's so vital. Guys are still so shy to talk about stuff, so shy to actually get help when they need it. And it's like, hey, man, if you want to be optimal and you want to be at your best version of yourself again, then these are the things that you can do. So I love it. I love everything you're doing, man. You got something big coming up. What you got?
Well, traditionally, what we have been known for is the large coast to coast ride for the fallen. Our first was in 2014. So this is going to be RFF 11 starting August 23rd. So that's a week from tomorrow out in Los Angeles. I forgot to count, like 16, 17 days. We'll be out at Arlington National Cemetery, 9 or 10 different stops and events along the way. We're going to see a ton of different families. We got Gold Star families riding with us. We're doing some pretty unique things, both above and below the water, actually, on this one. A new stop for us this year is going to be Louisville, Kentucky. So yeah, that starts next week. Traditionally, each year we have a set of honorees. These are guys who were traditionally, it was guys who were killed in combat. Now we've changed that over the past few years, and we've included guys who've passed away by their own hand. So we've included suicide. With the medical treatments that we have, we see it preventing suicide. We also don't like that stigma at all, that it just can't be touched. And it's another avenue that we can support families. So we've included, special operations guys who aren't around anymore for that. One of our honorees this year is the founder of Coast to Coast, is Chris Vallejo. He passed away July of 23 on Interstate 40, heading west out to California to see his family. So it's going to be an emotional high and low for us. It's going to be all over the freaking place. We got hockey in Vegas. We got a water dive in a lake in Arkansas with an underwater memorial for Adam Brown from the ST6 community. Trying to loop in as many as we possibly can. Kentucky will be a ton of PJs and controllers up there from the 123rd. We got Rangers, and you know what happens when that happens. We got MARSOC dudes running around. The cops may love us, they hate us, don't really care. So yeah, that's what we got going on at the end of August, and we'll culminate everything in Arlington National. That'll be on September 8th, Sunday the 8th.
Right on, brother. So this isn't just a ride. I mean, the most important part of your mission is to go see all the Gold Star families along the way, but this is also a fundraiser, right?
Oh yeah, this is the primary entity is fundraising. This used to be, first couple years was all self-funded. We didn't know what we were doing, didn't know how to fundraise, could barely even spell IRS. And then the ones who knew about the IRS hated the IRS. This used to be our only fundraiser. Now we've got numerous avenues by which that we populate money, but this has been the constant every year that everyone likes to join into. It's a massive family reunion. Again, kids now join in, different Gold Star families each year. This thing takes on its own energy field. It's got a gravitational pull. So the models are a thing basically to get you to come and join. You don't have to. You don't have to be on two wheels. We're not really exclusive. We've had Sprinter vans joining us, RVs. We're going to have finding a lot of intersections for us to go through. It's literally deep for us to get from A to B. And now we've baked in a lot of team and family time at some of these events. We'll have jet skis on a lake. We'll have, dinners that are only just for us to hang out. And then we're going to see some of the medical providers that I mentioned earlier. Part of the team, every bit of this is connected directly or very indirectly. We loop all of those in. So yes, there's motorcycles, but that's the venue to populate everyone in one spot.
So how do people donate to you? Where's the place to go? How do they do this?
Yeah, the easiest place to donate to us is the website that you read off earlier, CXCfoundation.org. That's the quickest way. The standard donate button on the website. Also on that website, they'll get a historical rundown of all of our different rides that we've done since the beginning. There's a ton of pictures on there. It'll show the routes. We have a new website with a new online store getting ready to roll out, thanks to some partners of ours out of San Antonio. So there's a lot of things that are happening that we've just, based on the network that we actually have and that we've built, there's some well-intentioned people out there, and we're a pass-through. Money in, money out. We were able to hire our first employee this year, former PJ, guy named Jeff Gant, very smart individual, and we were able to get his salary donated. So the money that comes in, we're turning around and offloading elsewhere. Beyond that, this is our first employee. We've been doing this out of pocket for over a decade, and it's been a massive investment, and we get massive returns on that.
This is awesome, brother. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I wish you all the best on this trip. Keep it safe. I always tell my wife, like, I started flying wingsuits and base jumping, and I like motorcycles now, but I can't do both. So it's either riding or it's flying. And seems like in the next year, I'm probably not going to be doing either or. It's with my young kids, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm super grateful for what you have done here, what you continue to do. You get it, man. And we're all pulling for you to keep helping build this thing. We're going to push out the links. We're going to tell everybody about it that we know. If you're listening, go check out cxcfoundation.org and donate today. They got to get big push over the next couple of weeks going across the country to visit Gold Star families. And so they can fundraise to help other families in need, other operators in need. So appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And also, I have to hat tip the other guys in the shadows. If you know them, you know them. But it's Mario, Joe, Jeff that I mentioned, Jeff's wife. I mean, there's so many people involved that make this thing happen. The face that's on a camera on a Zoom call today, but there's a massive underground syndicate that's knocking this out. And the guys from our community, they really don't take no for an answer. And so it's pretty cool to watch it all happen.
That's awesome, brother. Well, props to everybody involved. You have an awesome trip, man, and I can't wait to have you back on, and we'll talk about it post ride and see what all happens.
Yeah, man, if you're free, I'll send you the information for the South Lake event, man. Come on out there and we'll show you some unique stuff.
Oh, send it for sure. Absolutely, man. Cool. Right on, bro.
All right. Very good. Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Anytime, brother. Well, there you have it. Johnny Wilson, former Green Beret, Director of Operations for the Coast to Coast Foundation. Go give them a follow. Check them out on their website, cxcfoundation.org. And if you can, donate as they cruise across the country to support Gold Star families and the military operators. So pretty awesome organization. We touched on the show on peptides and hormone therapy, and I'm a huge proponent of this. I have partnered with Transcend Foundation and Transcend Company to look at my blood panels, do my lab work, and understand where I'm deficient, and then supplement that with peptides and hormone replacement therapy. So if you haven't checked your blood, if you haven't gone and got your labs, Transcend is a great company to start with. Go check out transcendcompany.com/Birdman. Start your journey today and find out what you're deficient in and how you can get to your maximum results. As always, got a hot list for charities. And we'll start out today with Coast to Coast Foundation. Go check out cxcfoundation.org. We got sonsoftheflag.org, birdseyeviewproject.org, guardiangrange.org, transcendfoundation.com, and NavySealsFund.org. Go check out those causes, follow them on social media, take a deeper dive into their websites to get acquainted with what they do, because you might be the person who knows somebody's struggling, and now you're the advocate to help them get to that foundation. Go check them out today. Again, if you're a history buff, I wrote a book called Sons of the Flag, The Last 100 Years of American Service. The idea of this book was, let me take a veteran from every living war, World War II to present day, and find out their why of service to see if anything had changed over the last 100 years. I'm not going to give it away, but it's on Amazon. Go pick up a copy. Proceeds go to sonsoftheflag.org, the charity. Give us a follow at 7x.project as we are creating the Human Performance Project Manual and what I now understand is a mini-series. But both are going to be released here very soon. So go give it a follow to get updates as we get ready to release this. We're super excited. As always, we are on Spotify and YouTube. So if you haven't already, go subscribe, like it, click the notifications button so that you can be alerted every Friday. We drop a new Frogman Friday show. Only special operators on, only entrepreneurs who are doing incredible stuff, whether they wrote a book, they made a movie, they created a company that sells product, they have a foundation, a charity, or they're just a badass dude, maybe even looking for a gig, who knows? These are war-proven combat operators who are now in the entrepreneurial sector, and we need to fast track them into the market so they can be seen, heard, and we can support them. Thanks for your time. Have a blessed day.
Frogman